Welcome to the Diane McClay Show, empowering life through choice. Get ready to discover new perspectives, motivation, and balance through Diane's compassionate storytelling and insightful discussions. Whether you're feeling stuck and discouraged or curious and looking for more possibilities, Diane has your back, and she's ready to take you on a journey of self-discovery and expansion. Choice is powerful, and so are you. The Diane McClay Show starts now.
Welcome in, everybody, to another Reframe Friday. I'm Diane McClay, your host on the Diane McClay Show, where we are here to empower your life through choice. I am stoked. As you can see, anybody who's watching right now, you can see my shirt has a little bit of homemade advertisement on it. It says "Love Me," and I'm super stoked to have my friend, my co-founding member of the Cornelia Stephanie Media app, Transformation Talk radio host, Trish Campbell. She's a Reiki master teacher, founder of InVibe, and she helps motivated individuals through the evolving and transformation process of remembering who they came here to be. She is launching yesterday her book, Love Me. The whole topic is going to be about what was this journey? What did we learn? And what does she know today that she didn't know a year or two ago when she started this? Trish, welcome in. Thank you for being here. I'm super, super stoked and excited that we finally get to tell everybody that they can order this book.
Oh my gosh, Diane, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I love your t-shirt that you made. T-shirts are coming, so you're so on point, and I love it. I love it. I would do something like that too. I just love that about you. So thank you. Thank you for having me. Wow. Like I'm just like exhaling right now into this perpetual exhale because it's been such a journey. The last 3 years of my life, specifically the last 2 years of my life. But it really started 3 years ago. But I'm just thinking back, like about a year ago, we were sitting together and I was like, I had arbitrarily set a date. I can't even remember what that date was now, but I was like kind of beating myself up for not hitting that date. And that has been how this process has been. I've been setting these targets, but it's been getting me to the next level. So, and now we're here. I can't even believe it. Yesterday, I was like, after everything was done, I'm like, I kept having this feeling like, I need to go edit. I need to go do, because I've been, every piece of this has been my life. And it's like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like, I'm still taking that in.
Right. Well, congratulations. And my homemade t-shirt is to celebrate you, because it's courageous. And it's courageous to say, I'm going to take on a project like this. It's even more courageous to follow through. And it's even more courageous that the content in your book, it's so real, it's so raw, it's the story of your life. And I've been so honored to get to be involved in the pre-editing process. And I have tags all over your book. And 3 things that stuck out at me that I kind of wanted to call out today is this has been a process of unlearning. That's a chapter in your book. It's been, you call out having being able to recognize natural intelligence, which is in your book. And what was really poignant is I randomly opened the page and I saw the word choice on there. And then you talked about that whatever we choose, we can choose to make it positive or we can choose to ignore it, which you title willful ignorance. And as you know, choice is important to me. So let's kind of dive in a little bit. Can we tell people what brought this story to life? And can you start with the unlearning? Because I think that's a pretty heavy theme, not a heavy theme, but it's a very real, dynamic, and ever-changing theme throughout your book of unlearning some of the things that you feel like you should have been doing your whole entire life.
Right. And I think, that chapter called Unlearning has evolved since, like, I think you have the second edition of or second iteration, but that has been a huge part of the process though. And it's interesting because we can have willful ignorance. We can know something and then still not do it. And for me, I mean, there's so many facets to the unlearning, but really what sparked in me the choice and the courage to do that, there's your words, but that's exactly what it was to figure out why I was showing up in relationships the way I was, and finding, connecting the dots back to, I started questioning everything, going back into my childhood, and then questioning like what we were taught in school. And you and I have had conversations on the shift about that. And so I really wanted to face my truth. And even if it was ugly, even if it was not pretty and not comfortable to be in. And so I think that's important to, why I felt so important to share that part of the story. Some of it might come across, and I've kind of evolved it, but as not harsh, but it's sometimes we don't like to hear the truth. And sometimes like there's things that we carry with us, and we carry them just because that's the way things have always been. But you and I have talked about that too. It's okay to question, and it's okay to expand expand our minds and open our minds to something new, even if we've never heard of it before, even if we thought everything was a certain way and we're like, this is how I'm operating. I'm not affected by that. But it's like opening up to other people's experiences, that we all have unique experiences in our life. And it's about, like, for me, it was important to understand the people that I connect with, because connection is important to me, and understanding that their experience is not my experience. I mean, we have similarities and parallels, and so kind of opening the space for everyone to, like, to not expect everyone, there's the expectation piece, to not expect everyone to act and do and be the same things we're doing. Like, everyone's journey looks different. So
right.
That's one of the key takeaways from this is, I mean, there's so many, but yeah.
Well, there's too many to cram into a 30-minute show. Right. And I just want to put a plug in while people are listening, while people are watching. Yesterday, Trish just opened up the pre-sale of her book. You can get a discount if you go to her website at www.invibe.ca. We'll flash the website up on the screen a couple of times. There's a discount code in there that people can type in. They can order the pre-sale of the book. Speak a little bit more about when they need to do it by, and then we'll jump back into some of the topics.
Well, the pre-sale is ongoing until eventually that discount code, I think I have it set till like middle of December or something like that. But and I will always be selling books myself, but my goal is to get this out into the main distribution and all the places online, all the independent stores, the main big stores, all of those, and getting that. But I wanted to be able to offer it to people first through me. I've touched every single piece of this process myself, and I'm the editor. I've had, editing editors help me, like yourself. And then my accountability partner and one of my great friends, Rob, that was a key piece in having that accountability partner, because he was writing, I was writing, and we were constantly checking in with what our progress was. So, right. Anyways, I don't know if that answered your question, but
yes. Yeah, basically the thing is that we want people to get this book from you right now on the pre-sale, because there's a whole bunch of good energy in the universe. There's a whole bunch of good, we joked about this kind of like birthing a child. I'm not a parent, but you are one. But this thing has been growing and developing and changing for 3 years now, and we now get to put it into the world. And so we want people to get excited and invigorated about this new thing that speaks to a lot of truths that a lot of women and men also, but women in particular feel, in terms of checking the boxes, the shoulds, the meeting the expectations of other people. I want to go back to something you said when you said, I wanted to understand how I was showing up in relationships.
Yeah.
And I think that's really brave, right? I think it's really amazing that you paused and said, okay, either something's not working, or something I don't care for, or something needs to change. What is it about me that, like, I'm going to start with me? And that's kind of where your title comes in, right? Love me.
Yeah.
Speak to that a little bit.
So, I mean, the beginning of this book happened at the ending of a relationship, and I could easily blame the other person, like we always do, because we're angry. We go through the whole spectrum of emotion. But I know, if I want to be honest with myself, that I had realized that I was somehow sparked in me. I had been shaving off pieces of myself. That's how I like to frame it, to fit in. And I was like, why am I doing this? everywhere I go. It doesn't matter if it's like a friendship or at work, the corporate world, my experience there, I felt like I was having to change who I was in order to fit in. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate, but maybe they don't even think twice about it, because that's just sometimes how we have to operate in the systems that we're in right now. But where we're moving to is in a system that's where, self-empowered, empowered creation from within, that we're, we know who we are. We're not looking externally all the time. And so for me, it was a return to self. It's a brutally honest return to self. And I was willing to go there because I wanted to show up authentically. Like, that was so important to me. And so, yeah, I'm not perfect, and I'm not perfect in this process. And this book is ultimately about that return to self, finding self-love, like really finding it, not just saying it, but feeling it and being it and living it. And it is for, a lot of women can probably relate to having to check all the boxes, because that's how I was living my life, thinking I needed to prove something, to accomplish something, to say, hey, see me, here's my value. But our value is already inherent. We come in with that. We don't have to prove anything. So that's what I've learned too. And yeah, I mean, I could keep going on and on and on, but I don't know if that answers your question. But this, yeah, it's been such a journey, and I feel like this book can be for everybody, because there's something in it that is, men have read it too, so they've said the same thing, like this is life-changing for them. So I know it's my story and it's very personal, but people will find parallels to their own life in that. And that's what I'm hoping. I asked the reader to do that. I asked the reader to go on the journey with me, because you and I had that conversation, and that was so important to helping me shape this in that way, to invite the reader in.
Well, and I think you do. I mean, everything I've read, you and I come from two different worlds, right? We have a lot of differences between you and I. You're a parent, I'm not, but when I read your story, I could draw a parallel to, maybe it wasn't the exact same situation, but I ended a relationship, a 17-year relationship with the employer of my dreams. And the relationship ended at the time. What I know now is it ended the way it needed to end. But at the time, I felt like it ended poorly. And I had anger, and I had resentment, and I had guilt, and I had shame. And I had to transform back to who I was. In some of my poetry, I say, I'm becoming who I am because I forgot who I was. And one of the quotes in your book, it says, we become so consumed with living to others' expectations that we forget about ourselves. We forget who we even are. And even though I'm not a parent and I haven't gone through the exact same things that your book articulates, and you speak to a lot of really personal stuff, I could say, oh, I've done that too. Oh, that was me. Oh, I hear exactly what she's trying to tell me. And I think it's important for our listeners to know that we want them to go on the journey with us. So tell me, answer this to that quote, we forgot who even we are. Who did you remember that you are, or you can be? Now that this has come to full circle, who are you today that you either forgot about or you didn't nurture back then? Who is showing up? Who's Trish Campbell today?
I think immediately what comes to mind is sensitivity. Something I was always told, oh, you're too sensitive. And for me, that is one of the biggest shifts I've made in my life. And that has become my superpower. I own it. I nurture that. That's my intuition. That is who I am. That, like, I know I have the divine light in me, like that. I came in knowing who I was, and then society kind of said, no, this is who you are. And I said, okay, if you'll accept me that way. And now I know I just need to be who I am. And I mean, I don't even know if I can, I feel like I'm creative. I love to create. So I kind of put that aside because I wanted to do all the things that society had said, would make me successful. Like that was the whole goal in life. And then what? And that's where, I started this journey. So, I mean, who am I now? I'm somebody who stands in her truth and who owns it when she makes a mistake and embraces that imperfection. And yeah, sometimes I need to remind myself to do that. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect. And I love that about myself. I love my goofiness. I'm a nerd. I do some of the same, like I know you can relate. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm somebody now who knows that my dreams are possible because I'm living it right now.
Well, and from my perspective, first of all, it totally answers my question. But from my perspective, the other thing that I see happening is you're not only standing for yourself, you actually have a strong enough voice. You have more than enough voice for not only yourself, but you are starting to use that strength, that courage, that choice, that awareness, that interconnectedness, that divineness to speak for other people. So let's just name that. On the Shift podcast, we try to change perspective by opening people's worlds to seeing things from a different view. Yeah. We are in the month of Thanksgiving. North Americans, Canadians, you have a Canadian Thanksgiving. Our Thanksgiving is coming up. Our energies are very focused on the gathering of people, the typical food celebrations, all of that. And then, Black Friday sale marketing is starting to happen. But one of the things that you've taught me is to start speaking on behalf of other people whose either voices are diminished or overshadowed or not even heard. And I see I see that you are taking your divine light and your strength and you are now putting it out in the world. So the thing you taught me is let's acknowledge the Native Americans of North America, the Indigenous people of Canada, the people who were here prior to us, who are the original stewards of the land, the original creators, the original curators of agriculture, the original curators of the founding culture that we have today. Let's just at least acknowledge that maybe we're not doing as much as we could be to say thank you to the people that we barely even acknowledge.
Right.
So to the tribes that are named and unnamed, we see you. And we're going to do our part to help other people see you.
Yeah, that is so important. And it's not just like that has been a big part of my journey and my unlearning and relearning and understanding that, I mean, it's not even just to, do it in the space where we do it on the shift or whatever. It's like in my day to day, I'm constantly now looking for that, like I'm looking out for that. And it's just something that is important to me. And it's been part of my healing that's helped me in my healing, I think, because there's so many wisdoms there that are offered to us or have been offered to us, but have been kept from us, been suppressed. And so for me, like learning more as much as I can about all these things that have kind of been shunned by Western culture and all of that. Those are the things that I've used as like personal tools for healing, and why it's so important for me to bring light to people and ideas and wisdoms and practices that are helping us connect to ourselves, because I will say this, I feel like it's been suppressed and kept from us and talked negatively about in order for us to stay away from it, because we're empowered when we have those tools that help us connect with ourselves. And some systems want us to be disempowered. So,
right. And information is power, right? And the subtitle of your book, so your book is called Love Me, Awakening to Healing, Self-Love, and Liberation. And I think that's what we're talking about right now, liberating ourselves from an old way of being, an old structure, and bringing light to the areas that we've traditionally been told we can't, we shouldn't, or people don't want to see it. Yeah. So speak to that. Speak to what has been liberated for you in this process, other than what we just talked about, and how can our listeners start to tap into that strength and that power of liberation of something in their own world, even if it's something small.
Okay, I'll try to answer both, but I'm a Gemini and there's 50 million thoughts flowing through my head. So. What I will say about liberation or my liberation or that concept is that it's okay to show emotion. It's okay to feel emotion. It's this has been part of my journey. It's not only okay, it's necessary. And so that is one of the biggest things I talk about in the book, is about feeling it and not running away, not escaping it, because that it will always stay with us. so you can try to fool yourself into thinking that escaping and running away or replacing it with something is going to help you. It'll help you momentarily. So it's understanding that, there's things that we haven't talked about, like vulnerability has always been positioned as a weakness, but it's actually a strength. And more people are coming to realize that all of these things that, that kind of we've been in this system of having to operate a certain way and being tied to these, to things that keep us locked in, like, for example, social media. Like when social media goes down, what does everyone's like, oh my God, what do I do with myself now for 5 hours? Or when COVID hit, everyone's just so, jumping from point A to B to C to D, like always do. And then all of a sudden we were forced to pause. So, a lot of people had a challenge to adapt to that. So it's because we're so caught up in this wheel of having to perform, of having to produce, of having to just prove, that we're doing something in this world instead of just being ourselves naturally. So that is the liberating part. It's like, I don't have to show up a certain way. I don't have to, you go into the corporate world, and that was my experience. You walk in the door and it's like, no, purple hair, no nose piercings, no tattoos, shut, 50% of yourself off. And that's where all your creativity lies. And then expect to be performing at your highest. Well, that doesn't work anymore. So that's why I'm taking my message, like the next step of this is to help the corporate world heal in that way. So, I mean, that could be a whole nother show, but I hope that answered your question. I do want to say too, that the other thing that was liberating is understanding that we've been operating in this materialistic value system versus our intrinsic values. And we have everything we need inside of us already. We don't need to look externally for the answer. Sometimes we need help. That's why you and I, we come in to help people see things they can't see for themselves. But we don't need to have things or all these things like just to prove that we're somebody. We already are. We already come in that way. We just forget.
So one of the things I'm hearing you say is you've discovered that you're enough.
I'm enough. Yeah. I'm enough no matter what, no matter if I make mistakes, no matter if I like do something wrong, if I hurt somebody, I don't ever want to hurt somebody, but if I do, I want to own it and I want to understand and fix it, repair that. And that's important to me. So it's important to me to communicate and to, have boundaries and all of those things, especially now. That's loving yourself.
Well, I'm also hearing, and you called out choice and courage. Those are the two words on my wall behind me, but I'm hearing that your choice is even more refined. It's not just a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing that there's energy behind you having informed choice, intentional choice, deliberate choice, and conscious choice. And those may all sound like very, very similar words, but consciousness is on the external, but it also sounds like you've done the work to bring your choice and to bring that power on all levels, the spiritual, the soulful, the energetic. That's what you do with some of the work you do in Reiki.
Yeah.
So is there a piece of do you have let me say this, sorry, I'm tripping over my words because I'm so excited about it. One of the brilliant things about this book is it's not just a personal story. It's not just a novel. It's not a back-to-back read. I could literally pick this book up to any point in the book. And the way you have it structured is I can grab a nugget or I could read a whole chapter.
Right.
But you have some really beautiful, original, authentic poetry that you've infused and woven into the book. In the time we have left, is there anything you want to tell people about your book that we haven't covered? And is there something that you'd like to share? Is there a little short snippet that you'd like to give people a little brief peek? And then before you do, Jacob, if you could just put the website up again where people can connect to the pre-sale information. Once again, it's www.invibe.ca because Trish is in Canada, invibe.ca, and all the information for pre-sale will be right there. So Trish, anything you want to say, what we didn't cover?
No, I mean, I call this a tapestry because it's woven with the poetry, and the poetry gives context to the insights, and the insights give context to the poetry. And it's just, it's kind of like this magic carpet ride, I like to say. I am just so, like I said, I've been so attached to this the last 3 years, and I'm proud of it. And yeah, I would like to share a little piece if that's okay.
We've got about 3 minutes left.
Okay.
Can you fit it into
I think so.
2.5 minutes?
I'll read one poem and then we'll have extra time.
Okay.
Okay, this is called Inseparable Grace. We are not here to have this human experience alone. We need each other to support each other, to uncover our gifts, things we don't see ourselves through the fog of the narrative, to push away the dust with our breath, uncover, heal, and restore. We need each other to be the light in another's darkness, to sit in chatter in the buzz of life and in silence. We are not our thoughts imposing on our being, imposter. We are the grace. We are the space on the periphery of thought. This is our truth. The observer, aware of all the conversations, words, symbols, images, entering in and out, 1,000,000 raindrops per second, drifting clouds across the sky, busy bees on a honeycomb. We see, we know, but we are not defined. Inseparable grace.
Wow.
That's
Can I just say that again? Wow. That's just one poem, right?
That's
so this is another reason why we really want to encourage people to check you out at invibe.ca and pre-order the book, because that is one little slice of the poetry. It's so beautiful. It's so raw. It's so real. I closed my eyes while you were reading, and I've read those words before, and they mean something even different when I hear your energy and your voice behind them. So thank you for taking time to share. Yeah. Last words, we've got the app, so people can find you in the Cornelia Stephanie Media Group app. Speak a little bit to that, and then close us out with whatever the last thing is you want people to hear for the day.
Yeah, I love our app, the KS Media Group app. It is a one-stop shop for all of us influencers, entrepreneurs, all of our podcasting group, and it is a way to streamline our work. And so for me, that is where I'm operating from. Like, that's where you can find me too. Like, we talked about my website, but download the app, because that's where you'll find me. And we're getting more and more involved in that. We've talked about our questions that we're going to be asking people, the universal truth, or universal question, sorry. And I'm so excited about that, because that's all part of the process of healing and coming back to ourselves, becoming more intimate with ourselves. So you can find me in all my work. I have artwork there too, available for sale, and just to see the work that I do. I take commissions too. So all of that is part of like the work that I'm doing. It's all about creation. And that's just everything I want to do right now. So
excellent. So people can find the app by going to the Google or Apple Play Store. We want you to download it for free. We want you to basically become a member, so you can have access to all of the really amazing content, including snippets of Trish's poetry and access to her book. And then we want you to contact us and let us know how you feel about it. Last parting word, we got to close this out, and I hate to do this to you, but you have an amazing thing. I want to celebrate you. Congratulations on bringing this to the world. The world needs it. I can't wait to read the final edited copy. I'm Diane McClay with the Diane McClay Show, and we're always here to empower your life through engaged choice. Trish, last closing word.
How much do I have?
You got to close it up.
Okay, go get the book. Love Me, Awakening to Healing, Self-Love, and Liberation. Love me, love you, love us. That's what this is about.
All right. Thank you for being here, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Diane McClay Show, where you are empowered to enact change in your life through choice. You know that little voice in your head that's been telling you to pursue that passion project? Or maybe it's been screaming for you to go outside and explore the great outdoors. That voice is you, and you deserve to be heard. Listen, make a choice, make a change, and watch yourself grow. For more information about Diane or to work with her personally, visit dianemcclay.com.